Hello guys, welcome to the video. So in this one, we're going to improve enemies manager. We also need to improve waypoint manager, but that's going to be done later because it can be confusing to work on two of them at the same time. Even though enemy manager and waypoint manager are going to be connected because it's basically two parts of one system, we need to develop them one by one because I don't want it to be super confusing. All right. So first, let's take grid builder. Let's bake the nav mesh. And let's run a couple of enemies from one portal, because I want to be sure everything is working as it was before. Okay, so bake the nav mesh. Then let's enable waypoint manager. Let's delete extra waypoints, and let's take only one and drag it inside of a castle over here. Also, we need to select the waypoint manager itself and clean the list from extra transforms. So I'm going to remove these. Then I'm going to enable enemy manager. And I want to drag enemies portal over here. Okay, let's try. Okay, it works. Enemies choosing the shortest way possible and they move into the castle. Very nice. I like it. Now let's stop the game. Did I have any errors? I did not. Perfect. Now let's work on this. What I want to do is to make enemies go from different portals. For that, we need to take the enemy's wave, break it into the same amount as amount of portals we have in the game. Means if we have two portals, we need to divide current wave by 2 and give each portal equal amount of enemies. For that, we're going to make a new script. Let's go to Asset, Scripts, and let's make C# script, enemy portal, like that. Now let's go back. Let's go to prefab folder. Let's select enemies portal. First, I want to rename it to enemy portal, just like that. And let's add component of enemy portal. Very well. Now let me double check portals that we have. Yes, we have component on it. We need to change the name. So I'm gonna do enemy portal, and for this one as well, maybe I can just take this one and override. Oh, we don't need to override. Okay, it's fine. Enemy portal. Good. So now we have two enemy portals with a script enemy portal. My goal is to respawn enemy from the portal itself, not from enemy manager. Enemy manager will be busy with taking the wave of enemies and give it to all of the enemy portals we have in the game. That's what enemy manager is going to do. So we're gonna do a bit of a refactoring here. Let's open this enemy manager. Let's do close all but this. And let's open enemy portal. All right, now we need to do a bit of a refactoring. It may be confusing, but I'll try to take things slow. So we should be all right. Our goal now is to make enemy portal responsible for creating an enemy. And enemy manager will be responsible for distributing wave between portals we have in the game. If we have two portals in the game, enemy manager will take current wave and it will give each portal same amount of enemies. If we have 3 portals in the game, enemy manager will distribute enemies between 3 portals. If you want system to work a bit differently, it will be easy to adjust, but as of now, we just need to make it distribute enemies between portals. So since we want enemy portal to be responsible for creating enemies, I'm going to go to enemy manager and I'm going to first of all take these methods, update, create enemy and get random enemy. Let's cut it out. Let's go to enemy portal and let's paste it in here like that. Now we have a couple of errors. Don't worry about them. We're going to go to enemy manager and we're going to take these variables over here, cut them out, go to enemy portal, paste them in here. And just not to get distracted by creation of enemies at the moment, I'm going to take this script over here and I'm going to comment it out with a Ctrl K and C. Actually, we can just comment out the update. Okay, very good. So now we have enemy portal that looks like this. This is just what we need. Now let's go to enemy manager and work on enemy manager only. This start method can be removed, as well as a space over here. And that's the only things we have. Now we need to make enemy manager be aware of the portals we have in the game. We want enemy manager to collect all of the portals we have in this scene at the moment. For that, we're gonna make a new list. Gonna be pretty easy to do. We're gonna do public list of enemy portal. Let's name it as enemy portals. And then in the awake, we can make enemy portals equals to new list of enemy portal, and to collect information about every portal we have in this scene, we can simply type here find objects of type enemy portal and parentheses over here, just like that. So this will make a new list and it will fill it up with information about portals we have in this scene. Let's save it and let's go just double check it. Gonna go to scene, Unity, and over here we have enemy portals list. If I go to play mode, you can see we've got element 1 portal, which is this one over here, and second one, this one over here. Perfect. Now I will take enemies wave that I have. Sorry, where is the enemy manager? Here. So now I'm gonna take the enemies wave that I have, and I'm gonna give each portal an enemy one by one. To do that, we're gonna use index. We're gonna have index 0, so we're gonna choose portal with the index 0, give it an enemy, then we're gonna increase index from 0 to 1, and we're gonna give it an enemy. Then we're gonna increase index again, and we're gonna check if this index is bigger than the amount of portals we have. And if it is, then we're gonna make it 0 again. And in this way, it's gonna cycle between portals all the time. I know it sounds confusing, so let's just go ahead and write it, okay? Let's go. And to do this, we will have to get access to enemies to create on enemy portal. So let's make a method. Let's encapsulate the list. Maybe somewhere here, I'm gonna do public list of game objects, get enemy list, and it's gonna give me enemies to create. Now I have access to this list from another place. We're gonna save it. Okay, this is what we need. And let's make it public just so we can test it. But then I'm gonna hide it, okay? We're gonna make it public so we can see it in the inspector. Back to enemy manager, we're gonna make a new method. Private void setup next wave. And over here, first of all, we want to have list of enemies we're gonna give to the portals in the game. We can just make a local list of game objects. Let's name it as new enemies, and it's gonna be equals to new enemy wave, similar to what we did before. Then we're gonna have int portal index, and let's make it 0 when we call the method. So at the start of a method, it's gonna be 0. This will help us to cycle between portals. Then we're going to make a for loop with the length of enemies we have. So new enemies dot count. This one basically means that we will do a step for each enemy in the list. In this step, we're going to take the enemy itself. So game object enemy to add equals to new enemies with the index I. So it will choose enemy from the list. If we run in for loop from the start and I is 0, it will take first enemy in the list. On the next step of this for loop, it's going to take first enemy, second, third, and so on. Then we need a portal to know to which portal we give this enemy, which portal is receiving the enemy. So we're going to do enemy portal, portal to receive enemy equals to enemy portals with a portal index. If index is 0, going to take first one. We're going to take portal to receive enemy. We're going to ask it for list of enemies, get enemy list, and we're going to type add enemy to add. So we just add an enemy to the list through this method. Then we want to increase portal index. So on the next step, we're using a next portal in the list, not the same one. And then just to be sure we're not using same portal again and again, and just to be sure we're not increasing this index endlessly, we're going to check. If portal index is bigger or equals to enemy portals.count, then it means we don't have any more portals and index is bigger than we should have. And if that's the case, I'm going to do portal index equals to 0. Just like that. And that's it. Let's make a context menu. Context menu, set up next wave, just so I can check it from Unity, okay, from the editor button. Gonna save it. And let's go back to Unity. Let's go to play mode. So we have 140 enemies, and if I distribute them right now, each portal is supposed to have 70 enemies. Let's do setup next wave. Okay, suppose it's done. Then we're going to select portal, and it has 70 enemies in the list. Perfect. This one over here has 70 enemies in the list as well. This is just great. So it does the job. It distributes enemies between portals. Now we need to go back to the script. And next step is to make enemy portal, create enemies from the list it has in a random order. The functionality for that is basically ready. Let's go over here and just clean up this update a little bit. I'm gonna do private bool can make new enemy. And this bool will do spawn timer minus equals time.delta time. Then it's gonna check if spawn timer, basically same thing as we have over here, is less or equals to 0 and enemies to create dot count is bigger than 0. Then we're gonna return true, and before that we're gonna do spawn timer equals to spawn cooldown. And if that's not the case, then we're gonna do return false. So now we have a nice pretty boolean method that we can use in the update instead of all of this. We're gonna do if can make new enemy, then create enemy. All right, this is good. I believe we don't need to adjust anything else, maybe except the respawn point. Instead of respawn point, let's use transform position, because now each portal will make enemy inside of like the portal itself. So we don't need respawn over here. Very good, very, very good. Let's go back to Unity. And let's go to play mode. Now to make it work, we just need to call setup next wave. Gonna do that. And oh my god. Okay, it works. The cooldown is the problem, but it works. Let's take the portals and let's give them cooldown of 0.4 seconds. Go again. Let's set up next wave. And boom, there are enemies respawning from different portals. I like it. This looks pretty good. All right, so now we have clean, manageable system that makes enemies in different portals. That is just what we need. And I guess that's it for this video. And I'm gonna see you in the next one.